Hello everybody, and how are you getting on? A very good morning, even though I'm not entirely sure when this video is going to air, because we here at Trek Culture Towers, time no longer has meaning, because Star Trek Day has just wrapped and we are bringing you some fresh and lovely sets of news. So to anyone who managed to catch a lot of the panels yesterday, you will know that there was quite a few reveals and we are going to be bringing them to you throughout the day today. However, we need to start with Star Trek Strange New Worlds. The bad news first, we do not have a trailer yet for Strange New Worlds. What we do have is a cast announcement. Now, we know of course that Anson Mount, Ethan Peck and Rebecca Romijn will be returning from Discovery to head up Strange New Worlds. So what we were waiting on really is who else is going to be in the series. And we got a little bit further along our way of confirming what characters are going to be in it, and we got some legacy and we've got some new. One of the biggest reveals of this casting announcement was the fact that American actress Celia Rose Gooding will be taking on the role of Cadet Nyota Uhura. That's big news for several reasons. One, she is one of the core legacy Star Trek characters of all time. This will now be the second time that she has been recast. Of course, Zoe Saldana played the character in the Kelvin Universe movies. Gooding is already an incredibly experienced actress in that she has played many roles on Broadway, and in fact, she and her mother, LaChance, have held the record for being the only mother-daughter pairing to ever appear in two different shows in Broadway at the same time, which they managed in 2019. She played a role in Jagged Little Pill, while her mother played a role in A Christmas Carol. The presence of Cadet Uhura on the bridge of the Enterprise shows that Uhura actually predates Kirk in serving aboard the Enterprise, which I think is a really cool little touch. And as she is a cadet, there is so much that can be done with this character. We know there are certain directions that she is going to go in, but there's really so much room to display even more of what Uhura is. Uhura is, of course, one of the core pillars of all of Star Trek. She is one of the most fantastic examples of female empowerment in early Star Trek, hell, in modern Star Trek, in science fiction. What Nichelle Nichols brought to the franchise has been picked up on, developed and honoured by Zoe Saldana and now Celia Rose Gooding. I cannot begin to tell you how excited I was when I saw that Uhura is back. I mean, I had full-on goose pimples when her name was said. Not only is Uhura going to be returning, but another legacy character, another very well-known legacy character, will be returning as well. Jess Bush will be playing the part of Nurse Christine Chapel. I mean, we are spoiled for choice. Now, several Twitter users have called out that there was an obvious room for a joke there, as of course the original character of number one Una and of course Christine Chapel were both played by Majel Barrett. Now obviously they never appeared together, so some people have said, wouldn't it have been very funny to have Rebecca Romijn play the part just in a wig, you know, and you could have the two of them side by side. The way technology's gone today, barely an inconvenience. The fact that they have cast Jess Bush as this character means that they obviously have plenty for both characters to do, enough that let's differentiate them and let's obviously cast different people, giving them different characterizations. I'm very, very excited for this, and I'm delighted to see that she's back, because one potentially fair criticism of the Kelvin Universe movies, Chapel's character was only ever name dropped, she never appeared. So delighted to have her appearing in Strange New Worlds. Now, another legacy character that's returning, this one was kind of a left field character, but very, very welcome. And that is the character of Dr. Umbego, who appeared in the original series episode A Private Little War. Nigerian-American actor Babs Olusomokan will be taking on the role of Dr. Umbego, which again, really, really excited for. Olusomokan will be appearing in Dune very, very soon, so there's a not inconsiderable credit to his name. So he potentially will be taking over as the Chief Medical Officer. Now, I am delighted to have Umbego back and be legacy character. Yay, everything is wonderful. Is my little heart a little bit broken that we don't have Jeffrey Combs confirmed as Dr. Boyce? Listen. Jeffrey Combs going to be appearing in Lower Decks. I'm appeased. Delighted so far with the legacy characters that have been confirmed. Now, we don't just have legacy characters, we also have new characters. First up, we have Christina Chong, who is appearing as Laan Noonien Singh. Now, Noonien Singh is a very familiar name to Trekkies and has been since the episode Space Seed aired all the way back in the 60s, and of course when The Wrath of Khan was released in 1982. Arguably the greatest villain that Kirk's crew ever faced. There is a list in which we rank the Trek villains of them all. Khan is not my number one, and you can go and have a look for that list and you'll see why. I will accept all bashing later on. To name drop a Noonien Singh in this presents both an interesting challenge of, well, if there's a Noonien Singh serving on the Enterprise, how then was Khan such a shock by the events of Space Seed? Now, the fact that her name is Noonien Singh doesn't necessarily, oh come on, she's related to Khan. You wouldn't name her that and not have her related to Khan. So, how is this going to tie in? Is she just simply a descendant? Is she herself augmented in some way? It remains to be seen. I had an interesting conversation earlier on with some friends who I was watching this with, where we talked about, as Khan in his heyday was reported to have been controlling half of the world, is it a situation where, much like the historical figure of Genghis Khan, if a lot of people trace their family tree back far enough, odds are there's some Khan DNA in there. Is it simply a case of dropping the name in for a bit of fun, or is there going to be some sort of crossover? This will be interesting with Spock serving alongside a Noonien Singh. So of course, Strange New Worlds, if you've thrown this down in front of us, you damn well got to address this, and we look forward to it. Another new face that's coming to us in Star Trek Strange New Worlds is that of Aenar, the Andorian officer played by artist and performer Bruce Horrock. Bruce Horrock is legally blind, and that is going to play into the character as well. Aenar will also be a partially, or at least visually impaired character. Now, we of course had Geordie LaForge for years, who was our blind navigator and then chief engineer for the Enterprise D. But LeVar Burton, at least as far as I'm aware, had perfectly fine eyesight at the time. So this will be one of the first times that a visually impaired actor will be playing a visually impaired character in Star Trek. It's another fantastic case of representation, which is something that Star Trek has been absolutely nailing of recent years. We really, really look forward to seeing what is the story with this character, where are we going, and also I've seen listings that say Horrock is a comedian. I'm looking forward to a funny Andorian. I'll say that now, it'll age like milk and he'll be the most serious character in the show. Let's find out. Then, last but of course certainly most not least, is Melissa Navia will be playing crewman Erica Ortega. Now, she seems to be sitting in Sulu's seat, so that would make her navigator of the Enterprise. So, I know nothing more about the character at the moment. Looking forward to finding out even more. Gimme. Now, visually, another thing that stood out in this cast announcement was the beautiful new uniforms. Now guys, I think at this stage you know I have a little bit of a love for the uniforms in Star Trek. This seems to be something of a hybrid of the Kelvin universe, particularly the Beyond uniform, and of course the original series uniform. Now they've got that kind of padding on the shoulders that you would have seen in Beyond, with a beautiful delta design as well on either side. However, it's lost the collar and it has that kind of under black collar, which is actually a little bit like Into Darkness. So in a way, it's visually tying in gently with the look of the Cage, the original series. And funnily enough, there's another tie-in, which is Spock's funky new hairdo. Now, we've been used to the same Vulcan hairdo for, well, 55 years now. And this is Ethan Peck's natural hair that's kind of chopped up a little bit. And also, in my opinion, is quite similar to Spock's haircut in The Cage, which was certainly on its way to being the normal bowl cut that we would be used to with all Vulcans and Romulans in the future, but it was still a little bit messy, much like, according to Akiva Goldsman, Spock's character himself is going to be. This is not the older, wiser Spock. This is young Lieutenant Spock, who's still sort of getting to grips with how to present himself and how to take a handle on his emotions, because all Vulcans have emotions, they just have a handle on them. And we know from The Cage and Where No Man Has Gone Before that this young Spock was prone to an old cheeky smile every now and again. Let's not forget the Short Treks episode Q&A, which is easily one of my favourite of the Short Treks so far. Now guys, obviously this is a little bit all over the place still, because this is very, very much unraveling. As I say, we don't have a trailer yet. We got some nice abstract shots of the bridge, lovely close-up shot of the transporter room, and on the panel it was revealed that Pike's quarters are going to be a bit of a hub as well, and Pike himself is going to be a little bit of a chef. So there could be some cooking scenes, much like you see in DS9, Sisko would cook for the senior staff every now and again. I am very much on board with this. Now, one last thing. There was a little nugget from Rebecca Romaine about Una, number 1. Just enough to say that she's a lot more complicated than people have ever really thought. Now, that is as vague as it sounds, but there's so much we don't know about number 1 that finally, after 55 years, we are looking forward to really, really dig in. Now, I'm not going to say I was there for the full 55 years, but I've been there for a good 30 odd of them. So, you know, I'll take that. I'll take that. Now, guys, that is by no means everything for today. We're just splitting it up because, you know, there's a lot of stuff to get through. You are awesome. Keep checking back on the channel. We will be firing out links today. All of you are deadly. Now, while I have you, really, really quickly, guys, we have managed to hit 140,000 subscribers. We cannot tell you how much we appreciate that so much. However, please, 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 if you're watching these videos, please like, please subscribe, please share. It is our life's blood. We are so happy to bring you these videos, and it is your engagement that helps us to continue doing that. Funny fact, recently we had a look through to see that a lot of people viewing these videos are not subscribers, but you can fix that with just a button. Just a button, we'll fix that for you. And then we'll be your friends and you will get the news first. Guys, that's everything for this video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Remember, you will catch us all the time over on Twitter at Trek Culture. You can catch myself on all the socials at Seán Ferrick. You are awesome. Look after yourselves. I'm going to go make a coffee and I'll be back to you very soon with the next video. Thanks, guys.